That's where we're talking.
This is WeatherScope.
There's a potential 1-2 punch for the Northeast. Right now, a mix of precipitation in the region. That's going to cause some problems. We have live coverage of this event. Good evening. Welcome to WeatherScope. I'm Paul Emick. Now, for a complete update, we need to turn to Jeff Morrow. He's in the Forecast Center with the latest. Jeff?
All right, thanks, Paul. And indeed, we do have a messy situation, to say the least. A lot of sleet and freezing rain has been reported from interior Massachusetts down to northern Connecticut, all the way back into parts of upstate New York and even into central Pennsylvania. Far enough to the north you get into the snow, but it's the ice and the sleet which is causing the main problems right now. Let's first of all show you the main setup here. Just a big slug of moisture now moving its way right up the coast. And indeed, that is overrunning a lot of cold air, which is already in place in this region. Now, right along the immediate coast here, and that includes Boston right now, and New York, although at Logan Airport it is snowing, but temperatures are above freezing. But New York City and Newark and that vicinity and most of central southern Jersey, that's all rain. But again, as all that moisture runs up and over the cold air, that's where we start to have the problems. We have live team coverage in 2 spots tonight. Kristen Dodd is in Worcester, Massachusetts, and Mike Seidel is in New Jersey, right there at the George Washington Bridge. Let's start with Mike. Mike, give us the latest on what has been a rather damp evening there around New York.
Just rain here at the George Washington Bridge in Fort Lee, Jeff, tonight, and all rain across New York City and out on Long Island. No problems in the LIE or the southern state or northern state expressways. It's a pretty decent evening compared to what it could be, because areas north and west of here back in the interior, northwest Jersey, the lower Hudson Valley, and northern Connecticut getting iced over. More ice overnight tonight. But tomorrow, as colder air comes in the cloud level where the precipitation is actually made and manufactured, we'll see whatever falls or is falling change back to snow. Even some snow in the forecast for the New York City area. So the rush hour tomorrow morning for most of us will be wet. Back in the interior, ice. Watch the elevated surfaces, the untreated surfaces where they haven't put salt down. And don't forget that we'll have to deal with some snow later tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. George Washington Bridge tonight, traffic is moving fairly steadily across the bridge back into Jersey and into New York City. No problems on the bridge, no delays tonight, and airport delays are very scattered, if any, as we roll on through this Thursday evening. As we roll up the coast tonight, we have problems on the highways because it is icing over and it's getting whiter as we speak. Here's Kristen Dodd with an update from Worcester, Massachusetts.
Well, Mike, yeah, it is getting a little bit more treacherous on the roadways here. Traffic slowing down, and for good reason. We've had the snow and sleet coming down now throughout the evening hours, and it's beginning to pile up over a very thin layer of ice. And so we have a lot of slick places on the roadways, especially where the plows and also the sand trucks were not able to get to before all of this was coming down. You can see how it continues to pile up slowly but surely here in the parking lot. It's a very granular kind of snow and sleet, and very slick. It's also sticking to many of the windshields as well as the roadways. Now I'm holding out my arm for you to look at the black portion of my jacket to kind of give you an idea of exactly what is coming down. And you can see it kind of bouncing off here, and that's the sleet. And we have been getting also very, very large snowflakes coming down, all of it leading to some problems on the roadways now and for the morning commute as well. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Kristen. And indeed, it's going to get worse before it gets better there, I'm afraid, around the Worcester vicinity. You hang tight. We'll be back with you for another update in a half an hour. Joining me now here in the forecast center is meteorologist Kevin Roth, and it looks like she had a mixture of some snow and sleet there, earlier freezing rain. Going to be getting all three throughout the night?
It looks that way. It's been going back and forth. Now it looks like a snow-sleet mixture. When we were with her a half an hour ago, it looked like it was straight sleet then. So we've got pockets of cold air and warm air interacting in the atmosphere, and as that happens, we will go back and forth between those precip types.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at a little bit of a close-up here. I think we have it on the screen. No, there we go. And this is a close-up of where Kristen was reporting from. Right there is where Kristen is, and you can see some of the darker green now invading her vicinity. And again, I just wanted to draw the freezing line is probably something like that. And again, anywhere south of there, we're talking rain. That includes New York, where Mike is, and all of Long Island, and out toward the outer Cape Cod, and the outer islands. But anywhere north of there, that's where we've got the freezing rain. And again, we have reports now that the Newburgh Airport in New York, that is north of New York City up in the Hudson Valley, Stewart Field there is closed, shut down because of ice. And earlier we had reports that in Orange County, the town of Montgomery is under a state of emergency. That's a little bit off the screen here, but anywhere in this vicinity looks like that's where the icing is going to be the worst tonight.
Hartford on up to Windsor Locks and on up into Springfield, Massachusetts looks pretty bad as far as icing. But once you get a little bit further north of that, that's where we're going to have all those three transitional phases, snow, sleet, and freezing rain. And then eventually tomorrow we're going to get enough cold air coming back in that all areas should go back to snow, even down toward New York City by the end of the day.
Okay, now there's a little bit of an interesting scenario here in the forecast, and we just got some new information in here on at the Weather Channel that there could be a second storm. Could you talk a little bit about that?
We've been reporting all evening about some snow and sleet going on in northern Mississippi and around Memphis, Tennessee. It's that energy that's going to hit the East Coast and probably will develop a secondary storm. Now, whether it comes up and gets New York City, Philadelphia, and Boston is a little iffy right now. We've got two new models in. We're waiting for the third one. One says it'll hit them, one says it won't. So we're going to kind of